What's up, guys? This is John from Ghosty Snails, and I'm here with my boy David. He has a pretty interesting deck profile for you to do today. I think it's dumb. I think it's not good. Pretty trash. No, it's fine. Yeah, but he's gonna do that profile. It's Infernoid shenanigans. Yeah.
It kind of really is, but it's in legal reasons, I have to say it's 60 card Infernoid Tri-brigade.
Yep, you heard him. Well, yeah, let's get to the deck profile. But before that, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It really helps us.
And if you don't, I'm coming to your house and suing you.
We're trying to get to 100 subscribers, so by the end of the year, hopefully. It'll be nice if we actually hit that. I don't think we will, but it'll be nice. You never know.
It's alright.
Get some momentum, but
cool.
Yeah, alright. So, let's get to that deck profile.
Yeah, so like I said, it's 60 card Tri-brigade Infernoid basically, but the hard part was knowing what to put in and knowing what's the engines what's good for the engines. So for the Infernoids, I play triple Decatron. He is always going to be the normal summon for the Infernoid engine. I don't really go into him a lot, but when I do, he basically forces out ashes, forces out hand traps, sometimes even forces out imperms, which is actually really good early on in the deck. So he's just really, he also, if they don't negate him, he basically becomes like a spelling trap negate or a monster negate for free. For the boss monsters, I play 2 Onuku and 2 Deviati. These are the boss monsters, and it's very sometimes you can play like three of one and 2 of the other, but I prefer 2 because it's just a good little mashup. Onuku basically says that on summon he's a dark hole that you can choose to activate on his summon. You do not have to activate it. And Deviati is a heavy storm. Deviati contribute 1 monster, negate a monster effect that's once per turn per card. And Onuku does that with spells and traps. But they're good. They're very big bodies, and they do help out in the later run. And for the...
That was the Infernoid engine, right?
This is still the Infernoid engine. There's still more. There's the level 8 Atandal, 1 Seismist, the level 7, 2 of the level 6 Sajet, and these are like the medium levels, I call them. So I have 1 of the level 5 that no one plays, 2 of the level 6s that no one puts at 2, and then a lot of the ones that you should run at 2 at 1. The reason for this is because in this deck, you're already putting so much negate and interruption on your board to the point that most of your cards are already kind of doing the work for you. So the reason I mainly have 2 of the 6 and 1 of the 5 is mainly because even if I mill 1 of my 6, 1 Sajet, I still am able to go double Decatron even if I don't see my Decatrons. 1 of my 5 in case I need the extra level. And I have 1 of these because even though in this deck these do come up, they never really you never really use the Seismist effect to wipe the board. You mainly kind of go into Antandal if you're going to go for FTKs and stuff. And for the smaller Infernoid package, for smaller Infernoids, this is 2 Patrulia, 2 Harmodic, and 1 Antra. Honestly, this is kind of like the best ratio you can go. These basically, the deck already struggles against back row decks enough as it is, and just taking things off field. Because these, all their DD Crow effects only activate on your opponent's turn, not either's like the other cards. So basically, Patrulia helps you out against like back row heavy decks and just having an extra body on field. Harmodic deals with other monsters that you just need to get rid of very instantly. Antra really is the most clutch card in the entire bunch because he targets a card and spins it back in hand. He doesn't destroy. So it's not, so if a monster, so most of the monsters that say you can't be destroyed by battle or card effect, this spins them back either into like an extra deck monster, gets spin back to the extra deck. You get to clear out Dogmatica stuff sometimes. It's very helpful, and also it's not really in attack position. You usually summon in defense position. So it's just very helpful. I played against a zombie deck in today because we went to the sneak peek. This is also being filmed on the first sneak peek for Burst of Destiny. I played against a zombie where he plays Zombie World, summons Beldrock. I basically play the Intra and spin his Zombie World back. He tried answering with the Beldrock, but I basically had another Infernoid to tribute his Beldrock and banish it, so I didn't really have to worry about it. But pretty much Antra comes in clutch for the stuff that you really can't handle most of the time, and that's really it for the Infernoids. And that's 17 for the Infernoid engine. And for the Tri-brigade engine, I am currently playing, and this is all pretty much like self-explanatory. You play triple Fractal, triple Kit, triple Caress, and triple Nerval for the Infernoids. You gotta play 3 of each. You cannot play them at 2 unless you yourself find yourself breaking a bunch of them. But 3 is good because this deck isn't really a draw. You don't have really much of a draw engine. It's mainly just a mill engine. And because of that, you get to trigger them whenever you really want to. You really get to call when you want to trigger all of them. And most of the time with this deck, most people are worried about the Infernoid package, not the Tri-brigade package. So that allows you to abuse the Tri-brigade engine even more than you already would be. And that's it for the Tri-brigade engine. But just in case, I run 2 Rescue Cats just because these are either your extender or your normal summon usually. Most of the time you don't really see them enough, and you don't really want to see them because once you summon it, it's immediately a hand trap target, and you do kind of want it to go off for your plays, which is why in the deck we run Monster Gates and Reasonings, just so that they can trigger. But yeah, we run 2 Rescue Cats. It helps out a lot, and honestly, it's just a very good it's normal summon and extender for the deck. We do run one small package of Lightsworns. We run double Wolf and 1 Raiden. You play Wolf mainly for the Tri-brigades, and I didn't realize that you can actually go off with Wolf until I added him in the deck because I saw another Tri-brigade engine run it. So I decided to try it out. Raiden is very good because I actually got to a point where I needed the 3rd Infernoid engrave, and I had the Caress in hand with the Lightsworn Wolf. I thought I didn't really have any plays until next turn, but I normal summoned a Raiden, activated his event, and I sent Harmadic and the Wolf from grave, my second Wolf to grave. So I ended up having an extra Beast Warrior, and I had the extra monster to summon Deviati to basically blow out the back row. I don't really know why they didn't really activate anchors and stuff, but it happens. And that was against a Sky Striker matchup. And the last monster, we want to run one Pankratops just because it's just a good little tech card to have in the deck. And just if something just needs to get quickly blown up or something else needs to get, killed off and you don't want to waste that normal summon, he's just very good to have. And that's pretty much all the monsters. This makes up almost half your deck. And honestly, the spells just complement them more than actually... the spells and traps complements more than actually does anything. For the spells, we run triple Void Banishment. And this is mainly for the Infernoids, so I also run... Because I have those, I also run triple Void Imagination. The important Void Banishment is your Rhoda for your Void Feast or Imagination, depending on what you want to do if you're going first or second. So you would activate it, pitch anything you want, and then Imagination actually came in clutch in 3 of my games today. My record actually was 3-2 because of this card. Yeah, most people would just negate mainly the first summon. and you're like, all right, cool, activate imagination or search it and then activate. And when you pitch it, most of the time it was usually they'll have like an extra deck monster on the field.
You're out of frame.
And when you do have the extra deck, when they do have the extra deck monster, you pitch this, and not only do you get to send 6 Infernoids from deck to grave, you also get to summon Tiara, which is basically another plus. So you're basically, I would love to say this is honestly plus 12, because not only does Tiara give you the mill and pop effect, but you're also sending Infernoids in grave, which is what you want. For the we do have a little bit of draw power, but it's not much. 3 desires, mainly just because if you want to, it helps thin out the deck to get other answers you want to get, and also it's just in case you run out of hand and you need more plays, this basically refreshes your hand so you can actually play more. This is the main spice of the deck, because without these cards, this deck wouldn't have actually had a purpose. 1 reasoning and triple monster gate. The reason for triple, I originally wanted to activate, was thinking what can mill, because we do not have Grass Looks Greener in the game anymore. So you want something to even mill out your deck and take advantage of the mill factor. So Monster Gate really helps out. So like this turns 1 normal summon to a free combo sometimes, because I ended up going, even if you're not so like I went into the game where I had 2 Infernoids in hand, I had a Decatron, and then I had 2 of the fucking Tri-brigades. So I went summon Decatron, activate effect, they ashed him, I activated Monster Gate, which let me go into Rescue Cat, and then I went off from there and still had plays for went into the Appaloosa set Revolt play. So I still had a combo. Reasoning's kind of a little more different than Monster Gate. Like if I open Reasoning, I'll activate it first because that's just a free normal summon. And most of the time your opponent's worried about the Decatron. So even if they do most of the time your opponent's worried about Decatron, so they're calling 1. So that's a free 3 Infernoids sent to the grave. It's usually 3 free Infernoids plus any normal summon of the Tri-brigade. So it just helps out a lot. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but most of the times it does. So it just thins out your deck and makes more plays possible. For field spells, we run 2 Layer of Darkness, 1 Zombie World, and for that we run a single Terraforming. 2 Zombie Worlds is enough. 2 Layer of Darkness is enough. I'm not worried about tributing my opponent's stuff, but it's just actually good to have the extra interruption because it's for cost, not actually effect. And Zombie World is just in case I'm playing against like dinos and things of that nature where they have to actually rely on typing, because Zombie World shuts down a good amount of decks if you just search it. Terraforming, there's no reason to explain that, so. And for the last spell, we run 1 Monster Reborn. This is very good if I'm playing against another Tri-brigade player, where they would just end up with the Appaloosa play, just Monster Reborn their monster, and that's just a free summon, and it just gets away. It pretty much just makes your opponent have to sweat in the mirror matches and stuff. For the traps, we run triple Revolt for the Tri-brigade combo and triple Void Feast for Infernoids, and then we play 1 Imperial Order. I'm just gonna go through this first. There have been multiple games.
You don't have to explain IO. Everyone knows IO is broken.
No, well, for the main, I'm only explaining it because in the main deck you usually side it. Oh. But it's a simple thing. But nothing will make you happier than resolving both Revolt and Feast at the same time. The only thing you would have to do is Revolt has to be Chain Link 2 to your Void Feast, because you still have to summon the monsters to link into Omen. So most of the time, what I would do is I played against the dinos, let them go into Oviraptor, let them summon Oviraptor. I chained both of these, Tri-brigade Revolt, and then Feast. So I still had the negates and the revolts active. I banished their Oviraptor, and then basically had a bunch of negates. So even if they went into their plays for the so I basically stopped them from getting Lost World. I stopped them from going into Double Evolution Pill and all that stuff because I made both of my Decatrons Spell and Trap negates. But it's just this is honestly disgusting, and the fact that this works should not be in the game. Like, honestly, they're just basically complementary for each other. And the only thing I want to explain is IO. You run it in the main because this deck struggles against back row decks very much. Unless you have Deviati spam, you're not going to do much with it. So orders is just a way to like get around a lot of that extra, like Guru, Altergeist. I've actually stomped a Altergeist player by just not a Altergeist. I stomped a Sky Striker actually by just flipping this and just saying, cool, Deviati, blow up your entire back row. That's the main deck, the full 60 cards. We're going to go on to the extra deck. I currently am running 14 cards in the extra deck. I am going to add one Omen because it just finally came up. For the main deck, we're playing 2 Ferrets for Tri-brigade, 1 Rampart, or Rampager, 1 Rugal, and double Omen. I rarely ever see the third one, but I'm going to add one because it does come up eventually. Rugal's very good in case you just want to get into those extra plays so you can actually get the Revolt to hand. And I've learned that. I only play one of the Rampager, but Rampager's first effect has came up multiple times to discard 2 basically bricks in my hand in order to make the Rugal and then search Revolt and then basically go to just straight game sometimes. And Ferret's Ferret. That I don't need to explain that. For the general links that I have in deck, I have 1 Appaloosa, 1 Crusadia Equimax, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, and 1 Almirage. Appaloosa for the free negates. We're playing Crusadia for OTKs, FTKs, anytime. Nightmare Phoenix, again, you struggle with back row, so you need something to pop back row, and also it can sometimes just make your Tri-brigade engine live by just discarding Nerval. And Almirage, I want to replace with Linkuriboh, but he has come up where in one of the tournaments I played against Guru Dogmatica, and I basically wanted to... I misplayed, but I realized I could have went... He went to blow up one of my monsters. I could have Almiraged, baited out his Dragoon, and then when he went to the Dragoon negate, I could have sent Deviati and then just negated a banship, but because I'm dumb and obviously don't know the game that well, I didn't do it. But Almirage comes up, it comes up. And for the last part of the deck, we have the beautiful Tiara, literally the heart and soul of Infernoid, and literally if you resolve Tiara, it's just game. Like even with just without chain materials, you go +6. You send 3 of your Nintis from your extra deck to grave. You got 3 free pops then, and then he drops mills 3, so you can hit anything at that point, and it's just a free plus. Even if he gets ashed or they infect failure him or something, you plus no matter what because all the extra Infernoids are in your grave, and he's a 34 beat stick at 36 in defense. Like that's kind of a big wall to get over. And then we have the 3 Nintis.
How do you send ints to grave?
His effect is basically when you use 3. It's the 3 one. His when he depending how much material he has, he gets to get certain effects. So on summon, the 3rd one is you get to send 3 monsters, both players. This isn't just you. 3 monsters from your extra deck to the grave. So it baits out Ninthus. It baits out a lot of other plays. Like I've actually had a Dogmatica guy play Winda. I played this right on top of him because I had the imagination in hand. Summoned him, blew up his Winda. He blew up him with Nintis, and I just went, all right, cool. I get to blow up your field for free, mill for free, and I had my Tri-brigade engine live for free. So you would send. So I sent my 3 Nintas and just basically plus like 12 for no reason because Tiara is just a card that exists. In the side deck, it's a little bit it's not amazing, but it's basically just in case I struggle in something or I'm struggling in a certain way during the match, my side deck's just there for that. So we have 12 in the side, so we're playing triple Nibiru just in case for when Sword Soul starts hitting tournaments. So I'm just gonna start playing it. I might drop him into the main deck, and I might put one in the main deck and take out my the Dino Wrestler. I literally just blanked out his name for a second there. We also have 3 Phantasme in case we're playing against Sky Striker, because, you know, I hate those guys.
Or any link heavy deck.
Yeah, any link heavy deck. But honestly, it's going to be way more. He's going to come up more because Evil Twins are coming back. So even with Evil Twins, they're going to want to go into that new Link monster. So he just basically says, cool, give me a free draw, free negate. It's just an extra negate on board. We have triple Spell Fragrance. Back row heavy decks I hate, so I flipped this against an Ultrageist player, and then he passed turn. I just straight up summoned Deviati to clear his board for free, and it was kind of ridiculous. And 3 strike, just in case.
The best counter.
Were you about to say hand trap?
I don't want to talk about it.
But yeah, 3 strikes. It makes it honestly. I cited it in because we do have a guy. I play a guy in locals that constantly plays with Solomon Greats, so I just wait for him to go for the FTK, and I just strike his first summon. It just makes a lot of sense. But yeah, that's my 60 card in tech. This is like 90 cards in total, basically. So altogether, the deck plays very fun. It's a little bit sacky because when you just pull the nuts, you pull the nuts, and your opponent cannot do anything to stop you. And it's just it's very hard. It's a
that deck just Infernoid Tri-brigade or
it's
Tri-brigade Infernoid?
It's 60 card Tri-brigade Infernoid. Because you're mainly playing the Tri-brigade engine, the Infernoids kind of just back it up in a way. Because what you want to do with the Infernoids with this deck is, I've had games where I would go, I would have hands literally like this, where it would be Monster Gate, Feast in hand, and Lair. So I would just go, cool. You only have Monster. You'll have one. I swear to God, Dogmatica Shadals are so free with this deck because they will go Winda, set, pass. You'll look them in the face, say Lair of Darkness, no negate, cool. Tribute your window for cost with Monster Gate. Free extended. You freely extend for nothing with that deck. So you would just go Monster Gate. I actually had a guy play Dragoon, and I instantly went Lair of Darkness. Are you going to negate it? I don't know why he didn't decide to not negate it, but it was the dumbest thing possible. So I just went Monster Gate, tribute your Dragoon for cost, and then I went into Rescue Cat and just freely played as much as I wanted.
Would there be any packs or cards you would want to try out on this deck?
I'm already kind of playing around in the spells with the Zombie World and the Pankratops. When I think when Burst of Destiny fully comes out into the States, I'm going to take Pankratops out and be ready for Sword Soul with a Nibiru, and I might take out Zombie World and replace it with the 3rd layer. Right. That might be it. Other than that, I think another thing you could do is extend on the Lightsworn engine. Because Loki, Lightsworns have unbricked my hands so hard to the point where I'll be like, alright, cool, I guess I lost, and I mill twice or 4 times, and I go, okay, cool, I just win now. It makes the deck's kind of ridiculous on bouncing back and then taking your opponent's stuff to just extend into combos. But I think the main thing people overlook is the Revolt Void Feast combo, where you just have an Appaloosa, and then when you resolve both Void Feast and Revolt, you have 1 free Banish and then 3 free interruptions. So, and this is an important thing. You can play 1st and 2nd. you're not stuck playing first. You're not stuck playing second. The deck is too aggressive to really. It's either super aggressive or super control-y, depending what turn you go, and it's very customizable basically to your playstyle.
Alright, cool. Well, is that it?
Shoutouts to Ghostly Snails again, because shoutouts to John, honestly. He helped me build half of this shit by helping me letting me playtest. Shoutouts to John Kozlik, who honestly took second place in the sneak peek today, because that dude with pure dinos. And the funny thing about that is when I gave him basically the dino stuff, he helped me build a good portion of this deck, and I think I got IO off of you, and I got a lot of my tech options off of you.
Yeah, a lot.
And then what happened was we play tested. Honestly, shoutouts to John Kozlik. That guy let me play test the shit out of this deck. I've been play testing it straight to figure out what I wanted to do for, I'd say, 3-4 weeks straight of just going remote dueling and just play testing as much as we can. And honestly, this is kind of my last creative deck for a while. I'm planning on, and just in case, small plug, I'm making a MetaZoo channel, Cultist Collectibles. If anyone's interested in MetaZoo or box opening channels, that's going to be the channel I'm going to be doing box openings and even pack openings, stuff like that on. Like and subscribe this video, and I hope to see you guys in another year or so.